It's time for Stories from the Heart with Carol and Mark. Hello, beautiful friends. We are back once again for yet another exciting adventure. Mark, did you hear the secret?
Secret?
Yes, big secret. Big Brother Jesus is now inviting little animals.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Little animals?
To be part of his Big Brother Jesus' love team.
Wait a minute. Last week we had strawberry shortcake.
Right. Mimi and Coco.
That's right, Mimi and Coco.
Yeah, that's right. May.
May, yes. The teacher.
The teacher.
Okay. Well, it's been lots of people, but the important thing is
lots of people.
it's Carol, Mark, and you.
Exactly.
And now animals.
And now little animals. Do you like little animals, little friends? I do. This one is extra special. It's like Nemo. Yeah, like Nemo. Do you guys like Nemo? Like Finding Nemo.
Oh.
You remember that story?
About the fish.
Yeah, he traveled all around looking for his mommy and daddy, remember?
Yeah.
And as he was looking for them, he found all kinds of adventures and he made lots of friends and everything. Do you guys remember? I bet you do. So hear me out. This time, Big Brother Jesus is inviting Nemo, the little wise fish, to make part of his team. Can you believe it? Now Nemo has joined us. Whoa!
Oh, boy!
What a big, beautiful surprise. Can you guys believe that?
So what's the title of this story?
The Wise Little Fish.
The Wise Little Fish.
I bet you guys want to hear about how Nemo became a part of the Big Brother Jesus' love team, right?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Set.
And go! The Wise Little Fish. In the middle of a beautiful yard, there was a large pond lined with beautiful little blue tiles. And the pond was filled by a small stone canal. And its waters exited through a small, narrow little opening at the opposite end. In this welcoming pond, there lived a large community of fish. But they were very, 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 very lazy. Yes.
No way!
They ate a lot of stuff.
Like pizza?
Well, fish don't eat pizza.
Oh.
They eat larvae.
Oh, I see.
They eat insects, and
ew.
Yeah,
Okay.
But anyway, they're very, very happy.
Right.
Really well fed.
Right.
And there's these little hiding places that they can go into, these little nooks and crannies in the
Wow.
wall. Yeah. And they had this comrade of theirs, this friend of theirs, who was their king. Yeah.
No way!
And they elected him as king, and there they lived completely unconcerned about everything.
Oh.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
Amongst them, however, was a little tiny red fish who was bullied by all the others.
Oh, poor baby.
Yeah. The other fish wouldn't even allow him to look for even the smallest little worm or find shelter in one of the little crooks and crannies in the wall.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
bet Big Brother Jesus invited him to be part of his team.
You're giving away the story, but
we'll have to wait and see.
Yep. The other fish had big pot bellies, so they hogged the best worms for themselves, and they occupied all the best places meant for rest. And they didn't care what happened to the little red fish, poor guy.
Oh, poor guy.
So the little red fish swam and swam around and suffered every day. He moved about constantly, persecuted by the heat of the pond, because if you go into the little nooks and crannies, there's mud there and it's cooler.
Oh, I see.
And he was constantly hungry.
Oh, poor baby.
Poor guy. He couldn't find a spot to rest in this big home, and the little red fish, because of that, he didn't have time for leisure. He couldn't rest. So he began to take an interest in studying.
Oh, good for him.
And he started studying the pond.
Oh, what What a smart guy.
He counted all the tiles that lined the sides of the pond.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I'm losing my breath already.
He made a list of all the little nooks and crannies.
Oh.
And he knew exactly where most of the mud would come as a result of a big rainstorm.
What a smart little fish.
After some time and some investigation, he discovered the drain that fed the pond.
No way.
Yes, it had bars on it.
I see. Oh my goodness.
And he started thinking about this opportunity. Wouldn't it be interesting to get to know life better and explore other places? You know, have a little adventure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go! Go, little fish, go!
He decided to leave.
Good for you.
In spite of the fact that he was so skinny from never eating and from constantly traveling in the pond, he still suffered quite a bit getting through that drain, and he lost some of his scales because the passageway was so narrow.
Oh my gosh, what a brave little fish he is.
But saying encouraging promises to himself, he advanced optimistically, very, dedicated, I'm going to do it, along the canal.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do
You
it.
can do
go,
it.
Little fish,
Go. Enchanted with the new scenery, all of a sudden he sees flowers and sunlight, and that gave him hope.
How beautiful.
After a while, he reached the big river
Yes.
and made a lot of new fish friends.
Awesome.
Yeah, he met fish from different families who made friends with him,
Cool.
advising him about the problems he might run into along the way and pointing out the easiest way to go. He was amazed to see all sorts of new things. He couldn't believe it. And since he was so used to having so little, he lived without much. He didn't need much.
Right.
And he never lost that ability to move quickly. He was he could move through anything.
Good for him.
Yeah. At last he reached the ocean. And he was now thirsty for more exploration.
Yay!
Imagine the big ocean. He's never seen anything like it.
Right.
Imagine going from that pond to the ocean.
Wow, what a dream.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And he saw a whale. No, can you imagine?
No.
Imagine
Oh, no.
all those big fish in that pond. Nothing compares to the size of a whale.
Of course not.
He got swallowed by the whale.
No, poor fish. Poor little fish.
No.
Run, little fish, run.
No.
No.
What's going to happen?
I don't know.
Well, he prayed to the fish god, asking for protection as he sat in the belly of this big whale. And all of a sudden, the whale, yes, didn't cough, but he burped.
Oh! Ooh.
Good timing.
Yeah.
And threw the little fish out into the ocean again.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad for you, little fish.
Now the little fish is thankful and happy.
Aww.
And he went in search of new friends, and he learned to avoid other dangers and other temptations.
Good for you.
You know, all the other fish in that pond that he came from were always tempted by all the little nooks and crannies. And they never studied. They never did anything other than sit around and eat. Now, he has, and is living, our little fish, is living smilingly and peacefully with hundreds of friends, and he found his new home.
Oh, I'm proud of him.
The Palace of Coral.
Wow, that sounds really cool.
You know those little things that live in the bottom of the ocean floor that have all the beautiful colors?
I know, I saw it when I watched Finding Nemo.
If you don't know it, it's Coral. Look it up and you'll see beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pictures of this wonderful places where all the little fish can live.
Oh, let me write it down. It's Coral. Got
Coral.
it.
Yes. And he got really excited and he told himself, living here is so amazing. It makes the palace in my pond look like nothing.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Wouldn't it be fitting to return and tell the fish to the old pond and tell the fish about the truth?
Oh my gosh, he's
Yeah.
so nice. He wants to help everybody.
Yeah, he thought that it would be useful to give them this precious little bit of information.
Oh, what a sweet little fish.
He didn't hesitate to go back to the pond.
Oh, go, little fish, go. You're awesome.
He swam up the river, went up the creeks, all the creeks that fed to the river, and swam up the canal and found the little drain and went into the pond.
Oh my gosh, what a workout. Phew.
Because he was so moved around so well and he was so satisfied with his life, he had no problem getting through the opening this time,
Right.
even though it was very narrow.
Right.
And he went looking for his old friends.
Of course. What a nice little fish.
They were the same lazy fat fish as always, swimming around in the same mud-filled crannies protected by little lotus flowers, from which they only emerged to munch on larvae, flies, or little worms.
Oh.
He cried out that he had come home, but nobody paid any attention to him.
Oh, I can't believe it.
None of them even noticed he was ever gone.
Oh my gosh, that's sad.
He went to the king. The king saw him and said, "Listen, there's a glorious, endless, liquid world beyond this pond. The pond is nothing and could disappear at any time.
Oh wow, so that's what he told the king?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Beyond this little drain in the wall is another life and another experience to unfold for you. Outside of it, there are creeks decorated with flowers, mighty rivers filled with all kinds of beings, and finally, the ocean, where life is richer and more surprising every day. There's a new adventure every day."
Oh, he's so kind to share that with the king.
He even offered to lead them to the Palace of Coral,
Oh, what
where
a
they could all
sweet
live
little fish.
peacefully and prosperously.
Oh.
Finally, he informed them, though, that such happiness had its price.
Right.
They would all have to lose a lot of weight.
Oh, I see.
They'd have to stop eating so many worms and larvae because they wouldn't be able to move between the coral very well.
That's true.
And they would be easy prey for another animal.
Right.
So they have to learn to be less, what's the word we're looking for here?
Selfish.
Selfish, good, yeah. And they have to study.
Yeah, they have to stop thinking about themselves all the time
That's
and
it.
study hard.
And they have to work and they have to study as much as they possibly can for this
so
journey.
they understand the pond and the ocean.
They have to ask a lot of questions. They have to ask people for help,
Right.
so on.
Right.
They can't just be by themselves.
Right. They have to connect to other people.
Well, the king decided this was interesting enough to have a meeting with the other fish.
Oh, good! I'm excited now.
But the listeners started laughing.
Oh, you mean they didn't believe the wise little fish?
Turned out the king decided to bring all the fish together just for entertainment value. This was too funny.
Oh, no way.
They said life outside the pond is impossible. What are you kidding? That the stories about creeks and rivers and oceans with coral that were many colors? This is crazy.
But it's the truth.
This little fish is out of his mind, they thought.
Oh, poor little fish.
Others even declared that they were speaking in the name of the fish god, who looked down upon them and them only.
Oh, no, that's selfish.
And just to make the little fish feel bad even more, the king went down to him with him to the drain. And after making some little attempt to get through it, the king said loudly, "Can't you see that not even one of my fins would fit through here? You big fool, get out of here. Don't disturb our peace of mind. Our pond is the center of the universe. No one else has a life like yours. You're just a little fish and know nothing. Bye."
I cannot believe it. How cruel. That hurts.
Expelled from the pond forever, the little fish made the trip back and permanently settled in the Palace of Coral, enjoying his life and living a life of study.
Good for him.
Some years later, a terrible drought happened.
What's a drought?
A drought is a time when it stops raining.
You mean for a minute or two?
No, for days, weeks, weeks, maybe even years.
Oh my gosh. Can you spell it out so we can look it up in the internet?
DROUGHT.
DROUGHT. Got it.
It is a terrible thing.
Oh my gosh. Goodness.
There's some places in the world that have terrible droughts where if it doesn't rain, you can't grow food, you can't grow anything. It becomes really bad for life.
Gosh, you're right.
Yeah, you can't have water.
Oh wow.
So get
So
this.
it's a real bad situation.
Big problem.
Oh wow.
So
what happens next?
well, what happens in a drought? The water dries up.
What happened to the fish?
Obviously, our little fish is fine because he lives in the vast ocean.
Oh, thank goodness.
The water comes from, who knows where,
Right.
thousands of miles away where it's still raining.
Wow.
But the pond where those little fish, big
ones,
fish, lived went dry. And the whole community was stranded there in the mud.
Right. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it.
Oh, how terrible.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Normally we say yay after a story, but this story is a little bit sad.
Right.
What do you think is the meaning of this story, Carol?
Oh, I think that when we are selfish or when we only think of ourselves like the big fish, we may get into trouble. Because we don't see our real situation clearly. We only look at ourselves. But there will be a point in time when we will need other people's help.
Right.
We were not born or meant to be by ourselves all the time.
Right.
So there will be a point in our lives when we'll need another person's help. And if we are selfish and only think of ourselves, that time will be very challenging or difficult for us to face, like the time of the drought. The big fish were very, very selfish. So that's why they got into trouble. For example, if I'm at school, right? And I only think about myself, I only think about getting my homework done first, or not doing my homework because I want to play video games, or not making my bed to help my mom because after all I don't need to do that, my mom or dad can do it for me. Or if I'm not grateful for my food because the food will come to me anyways, so why should I say thank you if it comes to me automatically like magic, right? But there will be a time when maybe my body gets sick, when I catch a cold, or when I'm not able to do absolutely everything that I normally do, when I will need to ask people for help. I may need to call my friends from school to ask them what happened at school so I can catch up. I may need to say thank you to my mom because she may need to help me get ready since my body is not feeling well. And I may need to spend more time in bed because my body is recovering from a flu or from a cold. So then I will value the neatness of my room more than I did before. I will say, oh my goodness, thank God I have my dad or my mom or my aunt or my grandmother or this person who loves me so much that they care about me to the point where they organize everything so neatly for me. They help me wash my clothes. They cook for me. They help me go to bed early so I get some rest. They drive me to school. They help me with my homework. They drive me back. They take me to my extra after school activities. They take me to the center. If I want to play with friends, they take me to my friends. When I have a birthday party, they help me celebrate my life. I mean, I receive so much from the people around me. that it's amazing how much love I have, but sometimes it takes my body getting sick and my needing extra help for me to realize how much love I have around me.
There's two things I'm thinking about as you're talking. One thing is, sometimes it's a blessing to be sick.
Right?
And sometimes it's a blessing even to be bullied.
Right, exactly. Oh, good point.
Sometimes that's a gift from God we don't realize.
Right, yes.
Because through that, the little fish begins to study.
Right.
We actually don't know if it's a he or a she. He or she begins to study.
Right.
Little fish. And let's say she.
Yeah,
And she discovers all these beautiful little interesting parts of the pond.
Right.
Right? There's another thing I thought about. We all have our little nooks and crannies.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we want to escape a little bit, to get away from the heat, to get into the little spot, relax, and just sort of chill out, maybe turn on a movie or whatever it is, right?
Right.
If you use the word chill out, I don't know if you do, but all right. But anyway, okay, so you're enjoying your life in there, okay? That's fine. The problem is when we do that all the time.
Oh, good point.
And we ignore and don't think about the work that we need to do.
Sure, I see
And the
your point,
importance
Mark.
of and our little fish has made it through life so well because he never gives up. He's determined.
That's right.
He studies, so he understands and knows what to do. And when he doesn't know what to do, he asks for help.
Oh, so he never spends time completely by himself.
No.
Oh, and guess what? When he found the big, beautiful ocean and the palace of corals, what did he do? Do you remember?
Well, he was amazed by what he saw.
And he thought about his friends.
Yeah, that's true.
So he went back
I
to
see what you're
tell
saying.
his friends about this beautiful, beautiful, lovely place.
So he never really thought only of himself, and I think that's the important thing we can think about.
So Mark,
Yeah,
you said something very interesting.
I did.
You said, yeah, you always do, but today, seriously,
Okay.
you said something really interesting.
Yeah.
You just said that it may be a blessing. Actually, you said it is a blessing to be bullied.
Ah, yes.
Our little fish friend was definitely bullied.
Yes,
but
he was.
Why do you think it's a blessing?
Because it gives him an opportunity to act with compassion.
Ah, con what?
Compassion.
What? Can you spell that out again?
C-O-M
C-O-M
P-A-S-S
B-A-S-S
I-O-N.
I-O-N.
Compassion.
C-O-M-P-A-S-S-I-O-N. So I
Yeah.
can look it up in the dictionary.
Yeah, and if you act with compassion, and you can even search images on Google for that.
Right.
If
Good
you,
idea.
Yeah. If you live with compassion, you think about other people, and not only first you're compassionate about yourself. You realize that you are a beautiful gift.
Oh,
You are. Remember, we talked about that
That's
before.
right.
You're a gift of God,
that's right.
and that others are too.
Right.
And that we can learn not to be, even if other people treat us in not such a good way, we can always, always, always respond differently.
Oh, there you go.
This is our chance to be patient, to
be kind.
be kind,
Be loving.
be loving.
I know, because if we're not, Mark, then how different are we from the bully?
Well,
right?
that's right.
If we respond in the same way as the bully, then we are bullying him back
And
or her back.
remember, the bully is simply a hurt person
That's true.
who doesn't yet recognize the beauty of compassion.
Oh.
So by acting with compassion, we're giving that person a gift as well.
I know. So when a person bullies me, maybe it is my choice to accept it or not. So I can take it into my heart, or I can say, oh, poor person, they don't know what they're doing. Let me not even go there, right?
That's
So
right.
by saying, let me not even go there, or by thinking, oh, poor person, this person is hurting me because they are even more hurt, then I can act with love, right?
That's right.
I can respond with love, and I don't have to take that in. I can say, that is a problem that belongs to that person, not to me. So poor person, so many problems. Let's think of them with love.
Absolutely. And so this is a beautiful lesson that we can learn from this story as well. So I think it's time to pray.
Yeah, let's pray for the people who bully
Yeah.
others, Mark, please.
Beautiful universe, thank you so much for this opportunity to reflect on the value of love and compassion towards others. To recognize that we all are and all have the opportunity to explore and to venture out into new adventures, but we should always keep in mind the value of compassion and love towards others. Because by doing this, we'll remember all the time that we have a beautiful gift right in front of us all the time. It's the gift of our heart. Thank you, dear universe, for this little fish story that reminds us of the beautiful power of love.
And let us pray also for those around us who need love, especially those who don't act with love yet because their hearts are hurting. Let us pray so that our big brother Jesus hugs them with a lot of love, so that they find peace in their hearts, and so that the pain they feel becomes happiness, becomes joy, and is transformed into love for themselves and for others. So be it.
So be it.
Yay! So we are sending you and all of those around you lots and lots of love. I hope you liked our new, most beautiful, adorable animal member of the Big Brother Jesus' Love Team. Go, little fish, go! And until we meet again for another
Stories from the Heart
with Carol
and Mark,
we will be sending you lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of happy thoughts. See you guys.
Bye. We love you. Bye.